So I learned to cook from meal kits, and I have tried every meal kit out there. And my favorite is absolutely Martha Stewart's Marley Spoon. It's my favorite because they deliver high quality, seasonal ingredients with tons of different recipe options every week. So you get variety, flexibility, and seriously good food. So whether you want a one-pan, one-step meal or a chef-recommended dish with unique ingredients, Marley Spoon has you covered. Or if you're a picky eater, they also have like kid-friendly meals. Or, if you have kids. Either way, here's the best part. I've got a deal for you. Use promo code Megan25 to get up to $250 off your first 5 boxes, plus free shipping on your first box. So go to marleyspoon.com, order your boxes, put in promo code Megan25, and try it out. You will thank me.
Hello. Welcome to the Kill the Bottle Podcast. Eddie Zamora, a.k.a. the Yum Yum Foodie. And when you see the video with the blurred background and confused look on her face, it is Megan Elizabeth. Hey, Megan, how are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
How are you?
You sound like somebody who just moved.
I did just move.
Yeah. And I didn't have to help you this time, which is fucking great for once.
That's because you said you were going to help me, and then you went to a wine tasting.
I didn't go to a wine tasting. I went to work. So.
Oh, Paso Robles.
Yeah.
Drinking.
Well, no. I was. Don't even get me started. I happened to have to go to Paso Robles for work, but anyway, that's neither here today. Here or there or today. Whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying. Anyway,
yeah, I posted some videos of my new place, and someone on Instagram sent a picture of the address of my building, and he's like, "I'm not a stalker, I'm just saying." And I was like, that is the nicest thing anyone's ever done to me.
Nicest thing a stalker has ever done for me.
Thank you. I'm so flattered.
Today we have two dear friends of mine on the show, but for those of you who do not know who they are, so I'm going to get a little deeper into it. Today's it's a special episode of Kill the Bottle Podcast because I'm going to actually call this the Pero Let Me Kill a Bottle episode of Kill the Bottle Podcast. I've got my friends Ish and DJ. They're the hosts of Pero Let Me Tell You podcast out of the 305, my hometown, Miami. And you do not have to be a fan or intrigued about Miami to enjoy their show. They're just a lot of fun to chat with, and you're going to find that right now. But welcome to Kill the Bottle Podcast, these two gentlemen.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for finally having us.
Yes.
Hey, man. The thing is, I'm always like, I always want to have people in person. So yeah, sorry guys, I'm breaking the fourth wall. These two folks are not here in studio. They're in Miami. When I was on their show, it just so happened that they were in town and we were able to make it work here in the Pecking Room. But yeah, they are in the 305. By the looks on your faces, it looks like you may have been in a little bit of traffic at some point today, or just Miami driving.
I mean, that's just a given.
Yeah,
all of the above.
Yeah.
When was the last time one of you moved? Because Megan moves like a fucking gypsy. She's always moving.
I was about to say, I'm like, Megan, because I do listen to the show. You had just moved, right, from the apartment that had the crazy people who were trying to kill you or something. So this is a second move since that?
Yeah, I'm starting to think it's me.
Oh, finally. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the person before, I was there for 3 years before, so it was a longer time. But it just got to the point it wouldn't stop. I kept saying, because they kept saying we're evicting him, and they never did. And I was finally like, all right, I'm done. And then I started really lashing out and flipping off security and in the cameras. I didn't think they were going to see it, but then they would send it to my landlord, and I was like, well, I'm going to go.
They don't see when people rob. They only see when Megan gives them the finger. If somebody breaks something, for some reason they can never catch them.
About that.
No.
They got me, though.
In all fairness, though, you did have that laundry room incident. So, they've got their eye on you, ma'am.
Yeah, and then this one, I just have people that have been awful upstairs, which I know everyone goes through, but it continually and gradually it got worse and worse and worse. And then everyone was complaining about them and they weren't doing anything. And then somebody, I guess, threw eggs at their door and they thought it was me. which genius.
They don't realize how poor you are.
expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Eggs are
it's like,
expensive.
no.
Yeah.
But they retaliated at me and came and kicked my door, and I was just like, I just need to bite the bullet and pay for a nice place. And
Wait,
that's
they
what I'm
threw
doing.
eggs at you?
They kicked my door. Someone threw eggs at their door, not me. They
With
thought
how
it was
expensive eggs are nowadays?
That's what I said. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
Megan was
major
living in Beverly Hills.
major drama.
Consider that.
Since
Yeah. So I moved I'm paying a lot more, but I think it's going to be worth it. I'm on the top floor now.
It is a Kill the Bottle podcast, and we tend to drink a little something. I have to fly at 7 a.m. tomorrow, so I'm getting up super at the ass crack of dawn, and I'm trying to take a couple of days off of drinking. Yeah, I'm hosting a few events at the Arizona Cocktail Weekend, so my body needed to recoup. But what I am drinking is some Soda Stream, and I'm drinking some El Guapo. I just wanted to say it because it's from Three Amigos, but it's El Guapo Cuban Bitters. So it's perfect because I'm a bitter ass fucking Cuban. I drink these Cuban bitters. I picked these up in Napa Valley, but they're originally from New Orleans. So the same way you would make like an old fashioned where it has Angostura bitters in it, you could substitute this. This goes really well with rum, whiskey, even tequila cocktails that require bitters. But for like a glass of fizzy water, if you want to feel like you're having a cocktail, even though there is a little bit of alcohol in this, a few dashes of bitters and like some Topo Chico, and you're good to go. I see Ish is
Just
drinking
have
something.
a fucking cocktail.
Yeah, right. I don't want
If you feel like you want to have a cocktail.
I think if you look at my liver, it literally looks like an angry picture of Megan. That's probably what my liver would look like right now in an X-ray.
Your liver would be like happier if you didn't go to Paso Robles and help me move. I guarantee that.
You mean help you with Did you even use the stand I gave you? Did you use the stand? Okay, it's a fucking great little stand. Anyway,
to do that video that you liked. So yeah. Anyways,
I love it.
It seems she hasn't moved on from the not helping her.
No,
move.
she will never move on.
Well, this time you were off the hook. All you had to do was film me.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't have to carry anything.
Yeah. No, I think I'm still traumatized from the last time. She had a fucking sofa that was it weighed like Noah's Ark, is really what I felt like I was carrying.
I want to come to Eddie's defense, okay? Because I think we're all around the same age. And I was the guy who always helped everybody move. And Ishmael had a truck when he was younger, so he helped everybody move. We had a friend that she used to move every year when her lease was over. And mind you, every time I moved, I would hire movers. But somehow I got stuck moving everybody else. And I have to tell you that was one of the greatest things of turning 40, that I said, you know what? We're that. I'm not helping anybody else move.
Yeah.
Because I've moved a lot of people. So unless it's like a special circumstance that, like, say you're sick or you're pregnant or something like that, I'm not helping anybody move.
The best part, though, about that story, about that we helped like that one friend move, is that she lived in a community and she would literally just move from building to building. So we were not just helping her move. We were helping her literally move like across the street, 3 blocks down.
Yeah,
which is even worse.
The thing with her was that when we would get to her house on moving day, there would be nothing done.
Packed. Yeah,
nothing packed.
Those people need most help,
including painting the apartment back to white. Right.
Mm.
So I'm like, how did you think? And yeah, it wasn't a big apartment, but I'm like, this is not something you do in a day, right? So, and mind you, every time I would move, I would hire movers so I didn't have to deal with it. But somehow I literally was carrying the load for everybody else. And I don't know, since like I'm a bigger guy, they would think that I could take the dresser on my back. And it's like, you know what? No, that's it. I'm not helping.
I will say you're not wrong, but the worst experience I ever had moving was helping you guys move into that one apartment with that television that I swear to God had cartoons and bills inside of it.
Yeah, that was bad.
You should have probably had kids
the point is
while you were in an apartment, DJ. That way, maybe they were of age by the time you moved, and you just have those little extra helping hands, like back in the day with the farms, where you just had a bunch of kids, and you're like, half of them are going to fucking die anyway. But nowadays, unless you live in Texas and you have the measles, with modern medicine, your kids are going to live a bit longer, and you just have those extra hands,
Oh my God. We don't want to get too controversial here, but yes, I was actually reading about the whole thing of the measles in Texas, and I'm like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Where we're at.
You know what, Megan? I'm going to laugh into Spanish. You know what? Me alegro. Go. You know what?
It's a lot of fuck around and found out. Yeah.
It's exactly that. It's like, oh, you want to be cute? Dale. Go for it.
So speaking of better, let me tell you, for the folks in our fans here on the show.
I want to do a role play real quick with
Okay.
these guys.
Please.
Are you guys ready?
Sure.
Okay.
Eddie, you're not in it.
Okay.
Ready? Hey guys, I'm moving in 3 weeks. I would like you to help me move, but I hired movers. You don't have to move anything. I have free drinks. All I need you to do is film me moving a little bit, and you can drink and hang out.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Okay.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds great. I'll help you put it in the boxes.
Now, here's
No, already boxed
but-
up.
but here's the only
okay,
thing I will
great.
say.
So
that
let's just
sounds
hang out.
great.
Yeah, except
Oh,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
called to actually have to
wait.
work to my job. So
Wait, but hold on. I'm gonna add a layer here. That sounds great, Megan. But let us know the exact date because we might have a pop up that day.
Yeah.
that is our everyday though with the chicken wing.
Yeah.
So I will layer that in there.
So speaking
It's all
of
good.
the chicken wings, congratulations on your accolade for South Beach Wine and Food Festival. So fuck yes.
Thank you.
I've been blessed
Thank you
to
very
have
much.
the guava. I was fucking guava. It was that guava. Everything makes me fucking happy. But I'd never had guava and chicken, and that was just spectacular. So guys in Miami, or if you're traveling to Miami, besides following them on Better Let Me Tell You podcast, check out Pim Pam Pollo. Their fun chicken pop up. So what happened at Sobe? Real quick, what did you win?
So we won Yelp's best bite on the beach. So we were at the grand tasting, which was on the final day.
Gigantic.
And it's one of the bigger events they have, as we say it. I call it the main stage at Coachella, right?
Got it.
It's like one of the bigger events because they have a lot of events during the whole festival. Some are satellite, some are small, but this is like the big daddy of events. And there's a bunch of restaurants presenting, and then you get to vote for your favorite bite of the beach, and it's sponsored or done by Yelp. And obviously you go in there and you're confident and you feel pumped. But I'm not a pessimist, but I'm a realist, and I'm like, there's no way we could go up against like Poppy Steak, which is like a really high-end steakhouse, or some of these like James Beard nominated chefs, or these like Michelin star rated restaurants, whatever. There's just no way our little chicken wing is going to beat these people. And we did. And it was very humbling. It's funny because in November, we won another like sort of cooking competition or festival, Heritage Fire.
I think they go to Los Angeles.
One.
Yeah.
And like they had like the best restaurant in Miami there. And I'm like, when they called up Pim Pam Pollo, I was like, is there a tabulation error?
Yeah.
Because I get very humbled by it, because I'm like, how on earth did we beat out all these people?
That's so not Miami
but,
of you, DJ.
gotta, I guess.
Being humbled by it is so not Miami of you.
You are talking to like, he is the king of imposter syndrome, right? Like legit. Whereas on the flip side, literally after we won Heritage Fire, I told him, you know what this means, right? He's like, what? I'm like, I will not stop until we win at South Beach. Like that is not like it's not an option. Like we are going to fucking win. Like, and he was like, I guess maybe, I don't know. And I'm like, no.
I'm here like the chicken is getting cold. I'm serving it not in the raw, because I like to serve my chicken wings at a certain angle on the serving plate. Like the garnish is way too much. Like the sauce is too thin. Like I'm running with like all these things in my head.
Meanwhile,
how perfect it is.
Right. Meanwhile, I mean, Eddie, you've been to the South Beach Wine and Food Festival, I'm sure, but Megan, I don't know if you've been or not, but especially as the day goes on, it just becomes a drunk fest.
Yep,
so
pretty much.
Regardless of the angle you put it on, it's always going to be at an off angle because people are drunk and they're walking sideways. So it does not matter at that point, right?
To me, it's a very like humbling event. Like I can't believe people voted for us.
If anything, you just lit a fire under the asses of the James Beard, the Poppy Steaks, the fucking Michelin star restaurants that sometimes they get a little, they on their laurels and maybe they're just like, no, we know what we do. People see the name, they're gonna, I don't want to say they half-assed it because I wasn't there, but it's really great to see the little engine that could and just be like, boom, come through. Because I remember, the first time I tried your food was over at Unseen Creatures Brewery, right there on Bird Road, right next to Hector's office. That's how I know if he's listening or not, because I say his name. And he'll be like, you mentioned me. And I'm like, fuckhead, I know you didn't listen to the show because I mentioned you. Anyway, that's how I know. But I was so just impressed at, first of all, your passion, because the passion is transparent, but just the quality of everything that came through. Because people can be passionate and be mediocre, but you guys were passionate and the flavors were just delicious. And I remember bringing some food back to my friend's office, and he tried it. He goes, "Ño, qué rico." And that is, that's the epitome of liking it as far as Miami people are concerned. So big ups to you guys. I mean, for real.
Thank you. But I will say the moral of this story, however, is that the next time we're out in Los Angeles, Megan, we will figure out how to make like a smaller batch or like smuggle some of the sauce to take out west so that you can have some. Because honestly, at this point, it's not fair. Eddie ghosted you for the moving. He didn't take you any wings.
Where are my wings?
Be careful. She's going to ask you to help her move something when you come. So just be mindful. just be mindful.
We'll purposely do it like as almost like a layover. We're just like, we don't have, sorry, Megan. We're like, yeah, we only have time for the wings.
The second nicest thing anyone's ever done for me.
All right. So, Pedro, let me tell you. I'll let you finish. And then I want to dive into some of the origins of the show.
Yeah, no, I was literally just going to say, like, Megan, honestly, like, I love the fact that you're on this episode. Because again, we've hung out with Eddie and I listen to the show and I adore you. I think you're hilarious. I love listening to your stories. So just the fact being on the show with you, for me specifically, is just like, yay, I finally get to, play with Megan, right? Like, so I'm so psyched that I'm actually interacting with you.
I can't handle all this niceness. It's not normal. I'm going to eat a pickle. Thank you.
Yeah. So Pedro, let me tell you, every time I'm always, I think actually, as much as I enjoy your show, one of the things I find most impressive is how at the beginning of the show, you actually know which fucking episode it is. And you announce the episode. I was going to say that. I'm always just like, wow, that is amazing. Because I fucking don't remember what I had for breakfast. But so when did you guys start doing the show?
We passed 100 episodes like a year and a half before we mentioned. I was like, oh, by the way.
So, oh, wow. Well, actually, I want to say that we don't, because if when you hear our episode, I'm like 3:30, and then he'll be like 1, and I'm like, yes.
Still closer than we would be.
How do we remember each episode? Well, right before we go recording, we go
also,
see what was our last episode.
You're not drinking like we are, which definitely can hinder your ability to do math. So, there's that.
I can't do math sober, so yeah.
No,
but, to answer your question, so we are on our 8th season of Pero Let Me Tell You. We started in February of 2018. So it's been a while. We started the video portion of our podcast, like a full video podcast. We started in September of last year. So when we started our new season in 2025, because our seasons run from the last Friday in September, the last Friday in January to the first Friday of December. So we take about a month and a half off. This is going to be our first full season on video, in addition to audio. We're not going to ever not just do audio. So we're very, very excited about the video aspect, because that's something that we always wanted to do from day one. But unfortunately, when Ish and I started, it was literally just the two of us and 2 microphones, with absolutely no idea what we were doing, So now we have like a studio and a production team and people that edit our videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're part of a network now.
We're part of a network.
What's that like?
Let me tell you something, Megan. It is fantastic. As the one who was editing the audio, after we would do it, and we were recording like on Thursdays and dropping on Fridays, and so it was crazy. And then we were trying to do at least to have some type of video footage for Instagram. So we would set up our cameras to record, and then Darian would try to edit something together. But sometimes the phones only one would record, so we would only get one of us, not the other one.
Yeah.
And it was just a whole slew of things. But now that we're part of, and I'll go ahead and plug them. We're part of the Cultura Talks network. They have several podcasts. We basically, to a degree, show up. Everything is already set up. Like, the set, whether we're doing our interview episodes, which has a different look than our weekly episodes, the cameras are already set up. We have our producer, Junior, who we absolutely fucking love. Like, honestly, I don't know how we did anything without him. And it's just like we show up, we record, they still send us the audio, so we upload the audio portion of it. And yeah, we're still involved, but it's a game changer. Like, for me specifically, just to have that person there who's like, oh, I've got this, right? And then we can focus on other things as well.
What was the name of the company?
Of the network, Cultura Talks.
Yeah, Eddie, you'll have to drop me. It sounds like if you want to join that network.
No, dude,
I don't think they take white girls.
No, I'll put like a little Don Quixote mustache. I'll do like, don't worry, girl. I got you.
On me? No,
there's
I'm
been,
good on me.
There's been enough Latin guys in your proximity that I think we could probably, we can make it work.
Again, Megan, I've heard the show. I think at this point you're Latin by injection, if nothing else.
You're Latin adjacent. That's fine.
By injection. That could go several ways.
Oh, he was mentioning it in the way that you're thinking, Megan.
That Robert came into my life. Oh, bad choice of words.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks for building on my double entendre.
The KJ, the
stack
Mexican
on it.
KJ. I nailed it. I'm in.
No, but
whoa.
Well,
this is turning into another podcast.
Well, for folks listening home, one of the things I really love about their show, for sure for me, there's a lot of nostalgia about it because I feel like obviously now we're friends, but if we weren't friends, I feel like I'm in the know of what's happening in the world of Miami, even if you're not talking about Miami in that world. Just hearing your accents, yes, you have them. Hearing just the vernacular that you're throwing out there, it just really connects. It makes me feel like I'm back at home. But then you guys cover a lot of pop topics, things that are global, things that are national, where you don't have to be from Miami to appreciate it or understand it. But it is fun to see that point of view because Miami, like that famous viral video is like, you're from Florida. No, I'm from Miami. Also from Florida. No, I'm from Miami. Miami has its own very distinct opinions and things in the world. So give Pero Let Me Tell You a listen, for real.
It's not the same, nor is it written the same. To do a bad translation of a Spanish thing.
Yeah.
Well, and you Eddie from being from here originally. You know what they say about Florida? The more north you go, the more south it gets.
Yeah. It's funny. That's the first time I ever hear that, but yes. By the way, is Junior the guy that I hear in the background that he's kind of like Cuban Chad from SNL? He's like, okay. But his voice is like very deep. He's like the Pete Davidson Chad. He just says like one word. And you're like, oh, anything else, Junior? No?
Junior.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Okay, so that's Junior. All right. I'm still not as familiar with him.
I want a Junior.
I'll find you a Puerto Rican Junior.
Thank
I was
you.
gonna say, you're in LA. I'm sure you can find a Junior. Yeah, like
Junior.
I'm sure there's a lot of Juniors in LA.
Yeah. There is a ton. We'll find one. I have a feeling. I think I need to get Megan. So Megan is what you've had Mexican. I think predominantly. We need to find you like a Boricua or like a Dominican, like Omar.
Dominican.
Yeah, I think we need to find you like a chivalrous Latin man, Megan. Gainfully employed, of course.
I've been asking you for 4 years, Eddie.
Yeah.
You're slacking.
Yeah. Well,
You're slacking.
No move, no man.
No, and all he does is offer you like lechon. That's it. Like that's all he offers you.
Yeah.
No man, but lechon.
Yeah.
Just
Speaking of lechon,
pork and good times.
Eddie, you did a great job at slapping that meat
that
the
pork
other
butt.
day.
Well,
my butt slap ASMR.
That pork?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was like, bah, bah, bah. I'm like, look at him.
There is a certain sound of like a pork tuchus that when you just get that like nice slap right on the, and get pellejo on that thing, it's gonna make a very distinct sound. You know what I mean? And
It does.
and it's so funny how the comment section lit up on the on the slappery of the of the nalgas on that pork. But
I
whatever.
Does it like you've had like pork every day for your life? Does it give it a different flavor when you slap it like that? Is there a little?
When it's been naughty.
When you're getting paid to do it, it does give it a fucking different flavor, Megan. It gives it a much different flavor. It's amazing.
Ooh,
And you
it tastes
laugh.
naughty.
You laugh that you said, he's had or we've had pork every day of our lives. That's actually not that much of an exaggeration.
I know. That's our joke, our running joke, because every time I go to his damn house, like any other time, he usually has steaks or stuff he posts online. But when I go, it's always pork. I want a damn steak.
Megan's
So we have
bailed
this
so
little
many
video that went
times.
viral.
She's bailed so many times. I don't want to commit on a really expensive cut of anything.
Actually, you
You
know
wait till I
what?
bail.
You know what though, Eddie? I'm gonna set you up, Darian. The thing is, Megan, that for Cubans, pork means special occasion.
Yep.
So therefore, you coming over,
Right. So
you
when
bring it out.
when it's somebody coming over, you give them pork. When it's somebody like when it's Noche Buena, which is the 24th, that's our big. It's lechon. On Christmas Day, we have leftover lechon. On New Year's, we have a new lechon. When it's somebody's communion, we have like a pork butt. Like,
What do you
Oh, yeah.
serve when you don't like the people?
chicken.
Yeah. But not pim pam pollo.
Wait, hold
Not
on.
pim pam pollo.
Yeah.
Other chicken.
no.
Fricassé de pollo.
There you go,
Fricassé
okay.
de pollo. That's yeah.
You
Yeah.
think that'd be funny if your whole project was just based on spite and it ended up being the best.
I actually highly function on spite. It drives me, so that would not be out of character for me.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
you're gonna do
me too.
really well the next 4 years. I'm gonna get ready for like the most money you're ever gonna make, Ish. Spite is leaning in
Your
your
list.
direction. So
Your
who?
lips, babe.
I don't want to say raise our hands, but I finally figured out the fucking Peacock app, which is the biggest piece of shit in the world. But on a side note, I finally figured out how to find the SNL concert and how to find the SNL special. Did you guys watch that yet?
I watched parts of it. I watched The Lonely Island because I'm a huge fan of theirs. And I saw some of the performances. I haven't seen the whole thing, which I'm not sure why, because I'm a huge SNL person. But we were a little busy.
No, fair. Yeah.
It's almost overstimulating. Like there's too much going on almost to me. And it was not, it's almost like I wish they would have taken the best of the good things and like slowed the roll. But it was just like, bam, 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 bam. Let's add Kim Kardashian. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I'm like,
We did talk about it we actually did talk about it on our show. Like, what are some of our favorite skits throughout the years? Either a particular skit or just a character.
Right.
Like one of my favorite characters of all time was Penelope by Kristen Wiig's Penelope, the one-up girl. She'd be like, well, I invented the ocean and like I'm in the ocean right now.
it is really good.
I was
It is
happy
really
they
good.
brought out Robert Goulet. In my head, I was like, how many of these fucking people that are watching this are younger and literally have no idea who Robert Goulet is? But he was still so funny that you don't care who Robert Goulet is, and you can assume that he's a fake fucking character, let alone a guy that was on Broadway, like all these different things.
But that's the thing. That's the thing is like, and not to switch, shows on you, but like, on Drag Race, they always have like the one episode where they do like what they call Snatch Game, which is you have to bring your impersonation. And RuPaul always says is like, I don't care if you're doing a real impersonation, just make me laugh. Right. So to your point, like as long as you show up and you're bringing it and you're funny, who cares if I know who you are or not? Like, just make me fucking laugh.
Yeah. And now I just want to see
Yeah.
Eddie
The
Murphy.
alien,
No.
sorry, the alien abduction makes me cry
Every time.
Oh, I
And
love that
this one
one.
wasn't as funny as the other ones, but the other ones, when I just cry laughing, I can't.
Meryl Streep
can't-
like
it's
spilling
not
stuff
for
on
me.
herself was just like
Yeah.
just seeing Meryl Streep. I want to watch now. I just want to watch Eddie Murphy as Tracy Morgan for a day. I literally just want to watch Eddie Murphy walk around as Tracy Morgan. I could not stop fucking laughing at that Black Jeopardy sketch. And SNL's the only place who can get away with doing Celebrity Jeopardy where Will Ferrell is playing Alex Trebek, and then you have Keenan doing Black Jeopardy, and I was like, fuck, they literally are milking the same game show. I never put the two together before, but I was actually not drinking wine during SNL when I watched it, so I remembered this time.
There you go.
I was very moved.
Earlier in the day.
I was very moved.
We were saying that we thought that one of the all-time funniest, at least we thought, sketches was it was, I think, 1993 or 1994. I remember Janet Jackson was a musical guest where Heather Locklear hosted. And you remember that show in the 90s, Amazing Discoveries? That It was like sort of an infomercial, but they would be producing like this brand new blender, like the rotisserie chicken, like these sort of
Ron Popeil.
Yeah, Ron Popeil, yeah. Set it and forget it.
And you'd be like, wow. And they were doing one where Mike Myers was the host.
No, he was the inventor.
Huh? And the inventor, yeah.
He was the inventor.
And Heather Locklear was like the this is what it is girl, and she made like a Puerto Rican joke about one of them, like, it's so easy, even a Puerto Rican will know how to do it. And it we thought it was so funny because, first of all, you probably couldn't do that joke now, right? And Mike Myers' reaction or character reaction in that sketch would come to life a few years later when he was in that relief thing with Kanye West. And Kanye West is like, George Bush hates black people. And Mike Myers was like...
He's like, let me just go into Linda Richmond right now. Let me just, let me coffee talk. Let me just, he's trying to figure something out to get the fuck out of that moment.
Beyond Clem at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was like...
I lost my shit. Yeah. It was just too good.
Yeah. But, especially nowadays, comedy is one of those things that has to be protected at all costs, because I feel that it's sort of like, I don't want to say the final frontier, but it's sort of one of the few areas of entertainment where people can be extremely provocative, extremely
offensive,
thought-provoking, say things that push the envelope, which really comedy has always been about, and still sort of get away with it. That's why I understand certain comedians who just will not play at colleges or won't do certain events, because, that really is, you want to talk about free speech and people like wanting to curtail free speech. That really is a last frontier when you want to silence comedians, because they've always been here sort of to disturb the peace in a way. And I think that we all know what real comedy is, even if it could be a little bit offensive and thought-provoking versus just someone just ranting and, raging about something that it isn't funny. I think where that line is. So yeah, I'm glad to see that comedy still alive and well.
Yeah, to your point, I think it ultimately, we've had several comedians now on the show. I think what it comes down to is, making sure that you're punching up and not down. You know what I mean? I think that ultimately is a sign of a good comedian, right? Because if you're just picking on somebody who's easy to pick on, okay, sure, it's a low-hanging fruit, but you have to make it smart. You have to make it, relevant and make sense.
Or, some kind of a new point of view.
Yeah, even if they're down, though, degrade yourself in those moments, too. I do a joke about homeless people, and I do a joke where, they're crazy and they're yelling things. And then it goes into, they yelled, "Keep walking, you Jessica Alba looking white bitch." And I'm like, oh my God, that's like the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. But so you're punching down a little bit, but then
the twist.
You degrade yourself right back to that same spot. I went to the ultimate cancel, a show at the Hollywood Bowl. I went to the Chappelle show when he got attacked, and they had Jon Stewart. They had all the comedians, because Chappelle's all about screw you guys, I'm going to say what I want to say. And he had all of the people that do that. And then right before that, he brings out Chris Rock, and he just got slapped. And no one was expecting Chris Rock, because this is the first outing he really had. since his big slap at the Oscars. So we're just like, oh my God. And then Chappelle gets attacked on stage and everyone's running up and defending him. You see this guy get the shit kicked out of him. I can't top that cancel.
Yeah.
No, that's
I hit my peak.
that's next level,
And that
Megan.
was with the KJ.
Yeah, that's like on another level.
it.
I wanted to fetch you guys' opinion on something. I just saw this today on the of course the most reliable news source in South Florida, a page called Only in Dade. You know, so they're totally not clout chasing, but they're definitely such a reliable news source. Anyway, so Megan, in Miami, we have this like kind of. It's like cheesy Spanish television that we same Spanish television we see here, but they're these two man and woman hosts of a show that have been doing this thing forever, and they're because only in this kind of culture, our culture, could we have a show called The Fat Guy and the Skinny Chick, and it's called El Gordo y la Flaca, and they just got stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and good for them. Good, like, God bless you. But in my head, I'm like,
Them and Adam Carolla.
are they just fucking running out of people? Because I gotta imagine, like, Frank Sinatra, Cecil B. DeMille, Steven Spielberg, Lily Estefan. You know what I mean? I was just like, what? Sorry, Gloria Estefan's cousin is the skinny girl on that show, La Flaca.
It's her niece.
Oh, it's her
Get it
niece.
right.
Sorry.
It's her
Okay.
niece.
Same shit.
It's her niece because it's actually Emilio's niece.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah,
Got
you
it.
gotta get the family tree
Okay.
right. What people don't realize though about getting a star is that you actually have to you pay for it.
You pay for it, you
it's
maintain
not like
it.
There's not some benevolent association that kind of just bestows upon you, says, hey, this year, it's not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right? Where it's like this year these are the nominees and then this is who gets picked. You kind of pay for it. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily the stars themselves pay for it, but it is a pay for play situation. But with that said, I will say this. Say what you want about El Gordo y la Flaca, and there's much to be said about that show. I still don't really know who the target audience is for that show because it's a gossip show, right? It's your typical like gossipy show. But then, so that should skew female, but then there's parts where like they literally just have women come out in bikinis and get into a hot tub. So I'm like, who is this for? I don't understand. But, if Mary Hart and John Tesh can have stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, right? Then you know what? Fuck yeah. Raul de Molina and Lilia Estefan can have it as well because you know what? It's a lot harder to do it in Spanish than, English speakers do nothing and get stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. These guys have been doing it for like over 20 some odd years. So you know what? Yes.
Gordo y la Flaca started in 1998. I remember I saw the first episode. Don't ask me why. But then Lily Estefan, and you probably remember this, Eddie, Lily Estefan was on Sábado Gigante.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Since the mid-'80s. But she's been on television for about 40 years. Now, you can maybe make an argument as to how relevant that has been for being on television, But she is a household name.
In Spanish households.
Yeah. I mean,
Spanish-speaking households.
I did a commercial with him back in the day.
She is a household.
Oh, you did?
I did. He was kind of a dick. So now I'm like, I don't fucking care about your Hollywood star and whatever, dude. He was just kind of an asshole, and I'm like, really, dude?
With Raul.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, not with her. I've never met her before, but yeah, I was like commercial with her, and I was like, dude, you're kind of a dick.
They're not my cup of tea. They're not my cup of tea at all.
But that's just not your type of show at all. Period. English or Spanish.
At all. I don't want to say anything negative about them because I don't really have anything negative to say about them. I grew up watching her on TV. I don't think either of them have any particular talent in terms of like TV. Like a Don Francisco, you know what I mean? Who commanded a room and was, can go from being serious to being hilarious to like. I don't think that's who they are, but then again, what do we know? Their show has been running for 20
Don Francisco is like the most impersonated by anybody as far as anybody tries to do a host of a Spanish TV show, whether you're watching SNL, they're doing Don Francisco. They're doing some, like Fred Armisen, if he's doing or when he would do any kind of a host, he was doing Don Francisco. So like, I get that. I get that. I was just like watching that today and I'm like,
Francisco,
is that news? Anyway, yeah.
And the thing about it, which I think it's a very point of distinction between like Don Francisco and like a Gordita Flaca. Is that while I believe good, and again, it's nothing even negative. It's not hating on them, but where a Gordita Flaca have been on TV, yes, for a long time, so you can't take that away from them at all. I wouldn't say they're beloved, whereas Don Francisco is like he is a beloved figure within the Latin community. Mira,
or like Christina. Christina was beloved as well.
Month,
that's another great example.
Yeah. Last year for Hispanic Heritage Month, I posted a picture of Don Francisco, and it said, "If you know who this man is, Happy Heritage Month, Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. If you don't, then Happy September 15th." Right? And when people saw it, they immediately were like, "Did he die?" Like they were like, and all the comments were like, "Is he okay? Did he die?" Because now when you see a picture of someone online, you're like, "Are they okay?" That's just like how beloved he is, you know? So I think there's a distinction. You know, there's people who are just famous, who've been around for a long time. And that doesn't mean they shouldn't get their accolades or their flowers. But then there's people that are like really treasured and cherished. And, you know, right. You think of a time in your life, or you think of watching TV with your abuela, with your tias or whatever. And he is somebody, and like Cristina too. Funny enough, yesterday, it's so funny you said Cristina. I was watching a podcast of Lourdes del Rio, who's a former Univision reporter, that she has a podcast, and she had Cristina on the podcast, and it premiered this week. And it's really interesting watch if you grew up watching her, because she gives a lot of insight, and she doesn't really give interviews anymore. She sort of disappeared from the public eye. Well, she's enjoying retirement.
Yeah, Megan, we've been trying to get her for the show. We should know.
For some context, Megan, Cristina is I would say like the Cuban Oprah minus the philanthropy and like building schools in Africa. So, I
like how you said that, because I think Oprah refused a Hollywood star, if we're just circling back, by the way. I think she does not have one, and she said, "No, I'm not paying for that shit."
It'd be great if Oprah's star would gain weight and then get smaller, and then gain weight and then get smaller just randomly. That would be the greatest.
And then just collapse into itself like a black hole.
Yeah, or they polish it with butter.
You have to pay extra for that.
They just polish it with butter.
Maintenance.
So since you guys are on the show, I have a Cuban F, Marry, Kill. Megan, I want you to join in on this. And I'm not sure if you've had these before, but maybe you have. If you want, I want you to join in. I'll start with Ish. It's a fuck, marry, kill. Croquetas, pastelitos, or papa rellena.
Just kill me now. Okay, I'm gonna kill the papa rellena. I love a papa rellena, but the thing with the papa rellena is that it is always just going to be potato, and it will be always limited by that. So I will kill it. I'm gonna go ahead and fuck the pastelito. Did we just designate the pastelito guayaba, or?
Yeah, let's go pastelito guayaba. Yeah, sure. Let's go guava pastry.
Okay.
Or guava strudel, as they would call it out here. Yeah.
Oh my God! Don't even start us.
Let's not go down that route.
That's another podcast. I don't want to.
He knows how to push our button. Yeah, because I feel like with a pastelito, little pastry, it's sweet. So like a mistress, you can't have it all the time. So fuck. And then I will marry the croqueta, because even though it's deep fried, it has meat inside of it, so there's a little bit more of a nutritional value.
All right. What about DJ? I like the face that DJ just put. He put nutrition. You said nutritional value, and he gave you the biggest what the fuck face ever.
Well, I mean, compared to a freaking guava pastry, yes.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's
the
fair.
nutritional value of a fried croqueta, which has ham and bechamel. But yeah, let's go with that.
Ham is protein.
So I would kill the papa, or to go back to what you were saying, Eddie, the potato ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Porto's potato ball.
Porto's potato ball, which always gives me severe acid reflux. They taste good, but fuck, they always kill my stomach. Anyway, sorry.
I would have to, I'm not a big papa rellena person. Okay. I would F the croqueta. I love croquetas.
I love that you said F.
Croquetas, but I'm a little cleaner than Ish. And I would marry the pastelito, because I can't live my life without gooey guava. I just can't.
Oh. Megan, are you familiar with these? No? I thought by now,
Nope.
in 4 years, you would have had some of these in my presence. Maybe if I filled them with pork. The croqueta does have pork in it. It's usually ham croqueta is my way to go.
What has meat? What has meat in it?
They have papa rellena has ground beef in it. So it's basically like mashed potato stuffed with some ground beef and then dusted and fried, for lack of a better word, just fried stuffed potato balls. And then pastelitos are I don't know, for us it's like it can be a dessert, it could be something for breakfast. It's a super versatile sweet item that we have, and there's a dude
But it's fruity, right? There's fruit. It's
yeah,
there's a
or
fruit
yeah. Some of them
element to it.
are cheese. There's also savory ones that are just meat, pastelito
See,
de
if
carne.
there's too many options, like if it's a fruity one, I'd kill it. But I mean, if there's a savory one, I'd marry it. You can't do that.
I can't. You can't.
There's
What about
too many
what about the
options.
croqueta? You've had a croquette before.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Is there meat?
You
There's-
didn't have it at Porto's, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, we get Portos a lot here. The principal or the person here that is in charge gets us those a lot. So I probably had them all. I can't pick. I'm not a,
Ish and I, every time
Uh-huh.
we go to LA, we always go to Porto's.
And we like Portos. Let me preface
We
it by
have
saying
the biggest love-hate relationship
Yeah.
with Porto's. Like, I think Porto's is amazing. I think what the Porto family did, I mean, it should be studied in colleges. Like, they built an empire
Mhm.
out of nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is so commendable. We actually interviewed Betty Porto for our podcast. Like, I think it was season 3 when we were in LA. Wonderful, wonderful. And I do love their food. Like, I think their food is amazing. And I look forward to going to them when we're in LA. The problem Ish and I have, and maybe Eddie, you could say, maybe you can't, as a Cuban from Miami, is that I understand they had to expand because Cubans are not the majority over there. So I understand that they had to go outside of the box. Like, my is like, why the Cuban staples, like, why couldn't they keep them as they were? Like, nobody calls it a cheese. What is it? A cheese strudel?
Cheese strudel, yeah.
log.
Oh, that
A
irritates
cheese log.
the living face fuck out of me. That's what it's something that it
is-
sounds
irks
good
me.
to me.
Yeah. You see, now Megan likes it. But no,
Now
I'm with you. I'm
That's
with
my
you,
marry and fuck.
DJ. It's
Give me the log.
I get excited to go because I'm proud of it because it's Cuban and founded by Cuban people. But at the same time, like there's a wonderful place down on Melrose called Made in Havana that's much better in my taste. That feels more like I'm in Miami. Does that make it better or worse? I don't know. It's different, but it feels more like I'm in Miami. And when I think of Cuban food, I think of my hometown. Before we go, I want to leave you two guys with some nostalgia. The same way you give me nostalgia when I listen to Pero Let Me Tell You. I want to ask you, since we're around the same age, and we grew up in Miami in the 80s, and I can't tell you how many times I see a video online of Hot Wheels from 1990 something, and you see the people roller skating, and you see the record player and the whole nine. If you could go back, and I'll start with you this time, DJ. If you could go back to Miami for one day in the 80s, what would you do for that one day?
One in the 80s?
In the 80s, yeah. You can pick any year in the 80s. That's fun. That's good for you. But what would you do? In 80s Miami.
I would 80s Miami.
Yeah.
I would probably so you have to understand in my answer, I'm a total historian and history geek.
I couldn't
So
tell
my
by your
answer
obsession with
is
the
gonna be very
USS
well
America. But yeah,
The USS United
Oh, USS United States. As you can see, I'm so obsessed with it.
dying over what's happening.
Sorry. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah. So I would probably go to Bakery Center, which is Sunset Place now, to take a lot of pictures of it. Because I went there a lot as a kid, but I don't have pictures of it. And for some reason, that was not photographed a lot. I am from Westchester. Still, my parents live in Westchester. So I would want to go to like the hangouts on Bird Road that don't exist anymore. If I have to pick one place in the 80s, and this is it signified something for me. So again, I grew up in Westchester. we used to go a lot to in Coraway and 87th. There was a Zare on one corner on Siding, and on the other corner was
Lionel
Westchester Mall.
And Lionel Playworld was right
yes,
there.
Lionel Playworld was across the street.
Yeah.
That corner was lit in the 80s, right? But on one of the corners there was a Kmart and there was a J. Byron's, right? And there was Westchester Mall. And we went there a lot as children. Like Ishmael did, like probably you did. We went a lot there as children, and it was sort of a rundown mall. I remember they used to have like a scary ass like pet store that they used to sell like pythons and like weird fish and stuff like that. And I would probably want to go back there and go to like Kmart and have one of those red snow
cone things.
Okay.
The snow cones things.
Cancer cups.
And and experience that, because that's something that was so of its time, and that whole like corner has been completely redeveloped. So yeah.
All right, Ish.
Probably that.
You're on the the light is on you. You're being interrogated. What is it? Talk to me.
Am I going back this age?
Do whatever you want. I mean, I'm always trying to relive memories with my mom since she's no longer with me, or with my dad because he's completely out of it. So, you know, I always go back into that space. So it's whatever it is for you, but I'm just curious.
So if I could go back, I would go back like this age, but go back, or maybe a little younger, but of age, not like as a kid. I would probably start off with going to breakfast. There was this like little Latin American cafe type of thing, like by my parents' house, where you could get a full breakfast for like $2.50.
Amazing.
So I would do that. Then I would go all the way down to the beach, but I would go to El Farito. Then I would come home and I would wipe off all the tar that seemed to always be present when you were at the beach. Then I would go to Hot Wheels and just, spend like trying to skate backwards, which I never could do, and even to this day cannot do. Probably then, to Darian's point, after that, go maybe have dinner at Lila's.
Oh yeah,
would have been in that,
and some flan
and Coraway
flan from Lila's. Yeah,
corridor. Exactly. Have Lila's flan. Have the steak with the papitas, with the little French fries. And then I probably would have, just because I have heard about it, but I was not of age, I would probably want to go dancing at Casanova's. And just,
wow.
And just kind of experience that moment.
And if
right?
Expose was performing that night, even better.
I mean, listen, I'll even take, Stevie B or Cynthia. I don't care.
They're performing here at Freestyle Festival, I think in March or May, in one of the M months, at the Toyota Center. And I'm contemplating going down there just to give me some Stevie B, some Spring Love, some, I need all of those.
Okay.
You definitely should go.
Go.
You definitely should go. We went.
I'll take Megan.
15 years ago or something.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you definitely should go. We went like maybe 15 years ago. Expose. There was a Freestyle Explosion concert in Miami at the arena, and it was all the heavy hitters. But Expose was like the biggest one, right? Because they were the ones that were like big in freestyle in Miami, but they also made it mainstream.
They're mainstream.
And it was like the first time like the original three got together. And I have to tell you that when we went to that concert, it was like if we were seeing like Prince or like Michael Jackson. We were like losing it when they came out singing. Because, their songs they're so Miami, they're so nostalgic, but they're very much of like our childhood.
Also, you guys would be like the youngest people there.
Yeah, sure. Or the youngest looking, maybe,
No. Based on when we went, we were the youngest people there. Like, yeah.
So Eddie, where would you go? Where would you go? What would you do?
Fuck. I wasn't even thinking. If I could turn back time, I would go with my mom. Used to get me up in the morning, and it's funny. I was so miserable to do it, but now in retrospect, I wish I could go do it with her again. She would get me up in the morning and then make me go to like Marshall's with her. And obviously Marshall still exists, but I just want to sit in my mom's Caprice Classic. I want to turn on Power 96. I want to push the buttons because there were no dials. You had to and then you had to push the buttons where it would go to the station across there. And I think I would just want to listen to the radio during the day and listen to whatever the top 40 was. and then pick one of the movies that was out at that time, because chances are I went to every week I went to the movie theater. So whether it was Back to the Future in 85, Top Gun in 86, there was always some movie that happened that had an impact and really, and then at night, go see my dad play live wherever he was playing at that time. Whatever his gig was that my dad was playing, that would be it. He used to play at the Place for Steak. He played at the Fountain Blue, the Eden Rock. I was so lucky to go see my dad play. That's what I would do if I could go back in a heartbeat. Megan, quickly, if you went to Greeley, Colorado when you were a kid, if you were able to go back, what would you do, Megs?
Kill myself.
Yes, I knew that's what was going to happen.
No.
On that note, I think
I'd go back in the 80s and tell my parents not to have sex. Don't do it.
You would Marty McFly yourself?
Yeah,
That's the
don't
movie
do it.
theater you would go to, Eddie.
I would go to the Miracle Theater, Miracle Mile. That's where I saw Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Back to the Future. I remember all that. I would go to
The elevator with the frog sounds.
Yeah, I would go to the Riviera Theater on US 1 and then go to Swenson's right next door. Or I would go to the Bakery Center, where I used to rollerblade through the parking garage. Not a good idea, kids. Don't do that. Down the spiral parking garage thing, I used to rollerblade. And then I remember that the Bakery Center had a escalator right next to the ticket booth that would take you up to the movie theater. And I always thought that was the weirdest fucking thing ever. You would buy tickets on the bottom, there's no doors. And then you just go up the escalator and you're in this movie theater. I want to give Ish, because I see the shirt that he's wearing for the gym, a little, so he can go expose himself right after. I just wanted to see him. He has like a He-Man shirt. It's just like the weird Eternia Gym. This is the funniest shit ever. Guys, I know we're running past our time here. I just want to. You've heard it before, especially if you've heard the show. The only thing we don't get back in life is time, and I sincerely want to thank both of you for spending some of your precious time with us here on Kill the Bottle podcast. Please, guys, check out Pero Let Me Tell You podcast. Obviously, is it Cultura Podcast Network? Is that where it is?
Cultura Talk.
On Cultura Podcast
Cultura
Network,
Talk.
if you want to see the video aspect of it. But of course, they're available for audio as well. If you're in Miami, check out Ping Pam Pollo. It's some really, really tasty shit, and it goes down phenomenal with especially the beers that I had over at Unseen Creatures. It was a really great experience. Megan, I love you to death. Guys, sincerely, I love you so much. I really, really, really appreciate you being here. So, folks listening at home, please like, subscribe, tell Megan she's pretty. All of the above. See you next week. Kill the Bottle Podcast. Check it out.